Hello, this is Joe from Nerd in Korea. We're continuing our budget Mardu white card draw with the niche creatures now. Our last video we looked at creatures that kind of fit in any deck, and now we're looking at ones that are very specific mechanics kind of oriented. Okay, as usual, by budget I mean $2 or less on the TCG market value, not a sponsor. Why use these? These are highly effective in the right decks, okay? So these are great cards, but they have to be in the right deck, right? And I'm going to say which deck to use them in, right? You want to focus on specific mechanics in the deck that, again, for Commander, this is very easy to do. I think in other formats, it might be a little more tricky. Core Spirit Dancer, first up. Whenever you cast an aura spell, draw a card, and she gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to her, which adds up very quickly, right? There are a lot of auras that will give like +X based on the number of auras in play. So if you have that and say 2 more, like 3 auras on her, she gets +6/+6, and then whatever the bonuses the auras give her as well. So this is kind of like reverse tax, I don't know what to call it, but she gets very big very easily, and those auras can give her a lot of other abilities and attack power that will make her just a real threat. Anyway, 130. Also, yeah, use in aura focused decks, definitely. Dusk Legion Duelist, blah, blah, blah. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on it, draw a card only once per turn. So it does have that once per turn limitation, which a lot of people I think hate. I actually look at and I say that's a bit kind of a good thing, because no one's going to remove a card draw engine that's once per turn, alright? That's like, if that's a target for removal, then what is going on in your Commander game? I don't know. Anyway, so this is obviously, yeah, +1/+1 counters matters deck. That's what you put this in, alright? Decks that can get +1/+1 counters on, and also will be able to keep putting them on every turn. I would like to point out that, yeah, this is once per turn, so you can, if you can get counters on it during other people's turns, then you've got card draw as well, right? If you have like a proliferate effect on a creature, if you trigger that during someone else's turn, you're going to be drawing 2 cards. You could use this in Commander in a multiplayer to draw up to 4 cards per turn, and that's where it gets really kind of devious and very, very good. Anyway, 57 cents. Sanctuary Warden, it comes in with 2 shield counters on itself. That's basically like one-time indestructible, okay? So if there's a board wipe or anything like that, you remove one of those and she's okay. Once again, amazing in a proliferate deck. This is like made for proliferate. But anyway, whenever Shield Warden enters the battlefield or attacks, I keep pointing out, attack is not the same as does combat damage. A lot of creatures say does combat damage. When it does combat damage, this happens. This is just attacks, right? You tap her, say she's attacking, this happens. You don't have to really do anything. Even if she gets untapped and removed from combat, this trigger already happened, right? So it's, yeah, not that bad. Anyway, yeah. Whenever she attacks or enters the battlefield, you can remove 1 counter from any creature. So this is for a counter stack, and you get to draw a card and create a 1/1 green and white citizen token. The token, sure, why not, you know? But the card draw, you're drawing cards just for like really minimal cost, I think. This can, if you proliferate or anything that deals with a lot of counters, just throw this in the deck. Alright, it's a 5/5 flyer for 6. On top of everything else, it is going to be indestructible 2 times. That's already a lot of value. This ability is like pretty impressive in addition. So it is 65 cents for that one. I guess, you know, you can only really trigger this maybe twice per turn. If she enters, you give her haste and then she attacks. That would be twice in a turn. Or if you make an extra combat, twice in a turn, right? But yeah, anyway, 65 cents. The Gaffer. I feel like this one has actually gotten a lot of notoriety lately. At the beginning of each end step, okay? Each end step. If you gain 3 or more life this turn, draw a card. So if you have the decks with a lot of lifelink, right? If you've got blockers with lifelink, they can gain you that 3 life pretty easy, and then you're going to be drawing cards on other people's turns, not just your turn, right? This is each end step, not your end step. Once again, in a multiplayer format, if you've got some way to gain life during other people's turns, gaining 3 life is not much of an obstacle, right? There's a lot of ways to do that, lifelink being probably the easiest way, but yeah. 164 for him. He's an old guy with grapes. Or is that a turnip? Yeah, okay, I thought it was grapes looking at it first. Those are his fingers, not grapes. Okay, anyway, 164. Oh, please hit like and subscribe. Okay, we're doing deck techs now, budget deck techs. So if you're interested, please check those out. SRAM Senior Edificer. Okay, this is the most well-known card in this list by a long shot. I usually try to steer away from cards that are very well-known, or I put them in number 5 kind of thing. This is something where I had to put it number 1 because it's just too good. Whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card. Oh boy. Alright, so if you've got an equipment deck, get him. Got a vehicle deck, get him. If you've got an aura deck, get him. Right? 41 cents, and it is not limited to once per turn. You can just keep setting this off. Just cast, set off, set off, set off. You do have to cast, okay? So if you have some kind of token that counts as or you create a token that counts as or equipment or vehicle, that doesn't count, right? You do have to actually cast it, okay? This may be the one major limitation he has, but it's so flexible, he's almost not niche. He's niche, but flexibly niche. Okay, 41 cents. Okay, on to the list. Chorus Spirit Dancer, $1.30. Dusk Legion Duelist, 57 cents. Sanctuary Warden, 65 cents. The Gaffer, $1.64. I think it's easy to look at him and Dusk Legion Duelist and say they're not that great. It's 1 card. Yeah, it can be 4 cards per turn as long as you are able to meet the conditions on other people's turns. The Gaffer, I think, is the easiest one. Gaining 3 life for lifelink. Lifelink blocker, 3 life, not hard. SRAM Senior Edificer, only 41 cents. This must be like printed a lot. Why it's 41 cents? I assume, because otherwise it just wouldn't be. Anywho, take it easy.